Mike Rothschild, welcome to Planet America.
Thank you.
So tell me, Mike, why do you think it is? There's a lot of misinformation out there, particularly on the internet. Why is it that some catches on and some doesn't? What does it take to effectively generate and spread misinformation?
Well, misinformation and disinformation are always going to occur when you have a large scale upheaval. So something like a pandemic, or in this case, something like a hurricane. People are looking for answers. People are looking for villains and someone to blame for what's going on and who did this to them. In terms of the specific disinformation that we've been seeing lately, a lot of it has been spread on social media, particularly X, formerly Twitter, and it's being spread by accounts that people have come to trust. So influencers in the far right space, people who are fairly well known for spreading these things around. It really helps to have some sort of a picture or a video. Even if the picture is clearly fake, it doesn't really matter. You're not looking for accuracy, you're looking for outrage.
And Mike, can you just clarify that distinction you're making there between misinformation and disinformation?
Sure. So my scale for misinformation versus disinformation, misinformation is essentially a myth or a rumor, something that somebody spreads around. They think it's true. They don't really have any reason to think it's not. There's no real malicious intent there. Disinformation is spread maliciously by people who either know it is not true or don't care enough to check whether it's true. It often involves some sort of scapegoating or blame or partisanship. So to me, it's really much more about intent than the actual material.
So Mike, you didn't name names there, but is it fair to say that Twitter owner Elon Musk can now be considered the spreader-in-chief of mis and disinformation?
Well, since it became his site, he really has put his stamp on the spread of things that are not true, conspiracy theories, rumors, hoaxes. Oftentimes, him just replying to something with a word like "concerning" or an exclamation mark emoji. That's really enough to make something go viral. And again, it doesn't really matter if it's true or not. He's not checking it. People who follow him aren't checking it. It's really just all about outrage and shock value and anger.
Why do you think Elon Musk is doing this?
I think certainly Musk has motivation because this is his website and he's really pro-Trump and he really wants Trump to succeed. I think, he can have that motivation, and I think we can see foreign actors messing around in these spaces. I personally have seen many, many replies to posts where the user is clearly not authentic. They are not speaking proper English. They're getting very easy things wrong. We've seen some evidence that it's Russia, that it's North Korea, that it's Iran, that it's China. All of these outside forces have a vested interest in sowing discord and confusion in the American election.
Mike, how complicit are consumers of misinformation? Good, factual information is available for those that want it, yet many people choose to believe some dude in a basement who says only Democrats are getting hurricane aid. Is there an active choice when we believe that stuff?
Well, I think a lot of us really do want to believe. That's why these theories are so compelling. It's not like they have, vast reams of evidence behind them. Most of them barely have any. It's that we want them to be true. They conform with things that we already think. They look at our enemies as all powerful and being able to do anything they want to do. And we want to believe that we are so important that those enemies will come after us if we get in their way. So a lot of this has to do with simple motivation and wanting these things to be true. And unfortunately, many of us do become complicit in spreading rumors, even if we don't have ill intent. We see a picture, we see a meme, and it feels like it's true. It plays into the things that we already believe, and we hit share on it, not because we think it's true, but because it made us mad and we wanted somebody else to be mad about it.
More broadly, Mike, some have suggested that misinformation is spread basically because there is now a lack of faith in government and institutions. Others have pointed to the fact that with declining rates of religiosity, people are kind of filling in the blanks, the vacuum in their worldview with a kind of conspiracy theory that becomes their way of understanding things around them. What's your view?
I think it's all of those things. I think it is a distrust in government, in media, in science, in doctors. Certainly that drove so much of what was going on during the pandemic. I do think it is a loss of faith. I think it's a fundamental loneliness. I think a lot of people are isolated. They don't really understand things anymore. Things have just changed so much You're looking for certainty, and you're looking for a reason why things are happening and where you fit into the world. And I think whereas people may have gotten that at work, may have gotten it at church, they may have gotten it at clubs, a lot of those things have closed. So they look for it online and they find these once siloed communities where they can now connect with anybody all over the world as long as you just believe the same things.
I don't know, Mike, but 30 or 40 years ago, it's possible that there were politicians who believed that the moon landing was faked and that Elvis was still alive, but they kept it to themselves, probably quite wisely. But that's now changed. People like Donald Trump and others openly flirt with ridiculous conspiracy theories. Why has that changed?
Well, Donald Trump really rose to political prominence not because of his policies or his views on taxes or foreign wars, but because he was a conspiracy theorist. He was openly saying Barack Obama was not born in the United States. He was openly saying that Chief Justice Antonin Scalia of the Supreme Court was murdered with a pillow. These are things that people have felt for a long time, but a lot of these believers never had anyone in politics who was really representing them, who was willing to say those things that they talked about. Trump really tapped into that movement of people who believed all these things, but felt like nobody respected them. People thought they were a joke or crazy. So Trump really tapped into that movement and made it his own. And now he really is the conspiracy theorist in chief. So many of the conspiracy theories that we've been seeing with the extreme weather, with the assassination attempt, this has come straight from him. This is not starting at the very bottom of the internet. This isn't starting in pamphlets or obscure message boards. It's starting with one of the most well-known people in the world. When it's starting there, it's very, very difficult to contain that.
Okay, but I mean, how concerned should we really be about that? You could say past presidents have had all sorts of crazy beliefs as well. Religious, spiritual, star signs, all sorts of stuff. Is there anything uniquely dangerous about Donald Trump?
Well, it is very concerning, especially what Trump has been saying on the campaign trail in recent months. He's been talking about eugenics. He's been talking about immigrants poisoning the blood of the country. He's openly talking about being a dictator. This is scary stuff. And this is stuff that many presidents have had fairly extreme worldviews. Many presidents have been into things that have been fairly woo-woo. But none of that drove their policy making. None of that drove the people that they brought on as advisors. Trump is being driven by these very, very toxic and very dangerous notions. And at this point, with just a few weeks left until the election, it really feels like there are no more guardrails. And he is just saying anything that he can to get any kind of attention. And he's getting attention. It's just from the worst people.
Now, before I let you go, Mike Rothschild, I have to ask, with that last name, Rothschild, is that why you became interested as a journalist in covering conspiracy theories? And does it make you a part of a conspiracy?
Well, if I were actually one of the Rothschild banking family, I would not be on the internet. I actually tried to interview many members of the family for the book I wrote, and they don't talk about any of the myths or theories about them. But my name never really came up when I was a kid. But once I did start writing about these things, I got a lot of comments of, oh, a Rothschild debunking conspiracy theories. The matrix must be broken. But I do think it's fairly instructive at how these narratives of string pullers and all-powerful cabals and particularly Jewish wealth have really shaped the way many, many people see the world and consume media, and it influences their politics.
Maybe you should just change your name to Q for your next book. Mike Rothschild, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Planet America.
Thank you.